So we have cars right now for sale for $2,500. And guess what? We can't sell them. And it's not that they have higher mileage or they're any worse than cars that we typically have throughout the year for that range and are able to sell them. And it's not like people are coming to our lot and test driving these cars and saying, no, there's something wrong with it or there's something bad with it, and they're not buying it. And it's not like we're not advertising it everywhere. I spend a lot of money on advertisements every month. So we've got our cars blasted everywhere on the internet. It's just people aren't even coming to look at this $2,500 car. And that's an element of people just not having money right now. Any other time during the year, last year, year before that, if we had a $2,500 car on the lot, it's gone immediately. There's no money in the system right now. So recently, me and Ray from Car Edge have had a discussion about where we think the future of used cars, where the prices are going. And we disagree on this. And Ray's a great guy. I think he's very wise in the things that he talks about, but I think he's wrong in this. And I'll tell you why. Just because of that reason that I showed you back there, we have cheap cars and people are not buying them. And they're the same type of cars that we've had for the last 2 years, and we've been selling them like crazy. And what I'm seeing at these auctions is the tides are starting to turn. Dealers are losing the appetite to be able to pay these crazy prices for the cars, and the wholesale prices are starting to come down. There's even been dealers that have called me that for the last 3 years they've been on floor plans and they have not, oh, that sounds crazy, and they have not had to pay any kind of floor plan fees for keeping cars for any amount of time. And I'm getting them calling me now saying, you know what, Brandon, in the last 3 years I haven't had to pay a fee. I'm now holding on to cars too long and I'm starting to have to pay fees on my floor plan. And it's not just Ray. There's a lot of other YouTube channels that I see out there saying that used car prices are going up and they're just going to keep going up. They're going to stay very high for the foreseeable future. But I just don't see that happening. I think from here, wholesale prices are going to go down, and then you're going to see a month, 2 months later that it's going to start to trickle over into the retail market, because it's going to take time for these dealers to get pinched, and then they'll have to start lowering their prices. So what I think that Ray and a lot of these other YouTube channels are forgetting is that last year, from summer to the end of the year, we actually saw a downtrend in wholesale prices. We saw a downtrend in used car values, and that was the overall trend of the market. And just like I predicted a few months ago, prices were going to spike again, and they were going to spike in January, February, and March because of tax season. And it's not an element of even really having to read the data. We just knew it was going to happen because it happens every year. And just like this year, even though tax season was less, we knew it was going to spike hard because there wasn't a lot of inventory. And guess what happened? The prices spiked. And now, just like happens every year, what's going to happen this year is that prices are going to come down right after the money flows out at tax season. These dealers get overexposed, and now they're going to have to stop buying so many cars at the auction because they're not selling a lot. I just showed you, I've got cheap cars all around here. I've never had a lot full of cars after tax season. And you know what? I don't have a lot full of cars, but I have some inventory, and this is way more inventory than I ever have after tax season, because tax season was the weakest one that we've ever seen. I talked to a lot of dealers. It's the weakest tax season that all these dealers have ever seen. So they're like me, they have a lot of cars still left. And what are we having to do right now? We're having to lower our prices because I'm trying to get these cars out of here before I think that that prices on the wholesale level are going to start dumping. And I don't want to be able to buy cars cheaply right now and have them come in and be able to price them cheaply and have them compete with the cars that I have now. So a lot of these cars I'm going to make a lot less on. I'm lowering the prices. Instead of making $1,200 to $1,500 a car, I'm only going to make $500 to $800 a car, but we're going to roll them out because I don't want to get stuck in inventory. And one thing I do want to call to Ray's attention is that back in the fall, in the wintertime, they were even releasing videos saying you can buy a car in X amount of days, you can buy a car in X amount of months, because they were seeing the trend that was down. So we just came out of a trend where used car values, wholesale prices were going down, and they were reporting on that. And now, because there's been this spike, this blip, it's just because of tax time, and that's it. We're going to get back to a slow grind downwards, and I just want to remind everyone that we just came out of this time where wholesale prices were going down, and we had tax time. That's what happens. Prices spike, and now we're going to get back to where we were, where demand is down and the prices have to come down from here. So now the good thing about us being on YouTube is we get to see who's going to be right and who's going to be wrong. And I'll even say this to Ray, that if he's right in 6 months, I'm okay being wrong, no problem. I've been wrong about a lot of things, and I will continue to be wrong about a lot of things. But in 6 months from now, if the data shows that the wholesale prices are flat or they're higher, then I will buy him the biggest steak that he can eat. And you know what, everybody that's watching this, you can blow up his whatever social media stuff he has, his YouTube page, saying that Brandon says you're wrong, but if you're right, that he will buy you a massive steak. So so this will be a good thing for us to watch. And the good thing about us having YouTube channels is we're going to be able to see in 6 months who's right, who's wrong. Not a competition, kind of a competition, but not a competition. I'm going to win. But it's just nice to have this little dialogue, because you know what, none of us have a crystal ball. We're good at tracking data, we're good at looking at trends, and we get to help you guys out, see what's actually happening. But as far as predicting, neither one of us really know, but we can use clues, and he's using the clues that he has. He talks to dealers, seeing what they're paying at auction. I talk to dealers, I see what I'm paying at auction, go into these auctions, seeing the appetite for these used vehicles, and I know it's going down. So I know that in the future, prices are going to be coming down, especially on the wholesale level, and then later on the retail level. All right, so now let's talk a little bit about timing. So right now, I think wholesale prices are peaking. So now in next month's data that you're going to see either flat to a little bit higher on the wholesale side for pricing. Then at that point, it's going to turn. So if it's peaking now, you're not going to see the data till later. I'm telling you now because I'm able to see it in real time, and when the data comes out, it's always lagging. So next month, you're going to see flat to high, and then the month following that, you're going to be able to see wholesale prices start to come down, and then we're going to see a trend down throughout the summer. That's why I'm putting a timeline on this. I'm right or Ray's right for about 6 months, because I think we'll have enough data to see a trend and to see if prices are going to stay flat, they're going to stay high, or if they're going to just continue what they were doing back in the fall and in the winter of going down. And like I said, I just believe it's a blip. It's just a element of tax time spiking up prices. Inventory was low. Didn't matter if tax time wasn't great. Inventory is so low that it was going to spike prices. And now we're done with tax time. Dealers are overexposed, and we're going to keep going down and down and down. But my advice for you, if you're in the market for a car, I'm sorry, prices are still too high. Just do your research. You can find dealers out there selling for reasonable prices, but you just have to look around, and it's going to take a long time to find a good car for a good deal right now. But if you don't have to buy a car right now, don't wait. Don't buy one from me. I don't care where you're looking. Just absolutely wait if you can, because prices will be better later on this year. But go back to, again, if you have to buy a car right now, I always say this, I say this in a majority of my videos, get a car checked out by your mechanic before you purchase. You can buy a paperweight really quickly, and I really want you to be safe when you're buying a car, so make sure you get a car checked out before you purchase a vehicle. And as always, thank you guys for the support.